Hey y'all, I'm Locklith, and in today's video I'm excited to share 5 Steam games of demos that I've played, some you possibly have heard and some maybe not as well. I like to throw in a little mixture if I can, and the first one on the list is Everafter Falls, which you farm, fish, forage, and fight to restore the peace in an all-new farming adventure. Features split screen, co-op, a helpful pet, automated drones, resourceful pixies, and basically a whole lot more that you can dive into. Of course, all the links to all the games that I'm going to be talking about today are in the description box below, so go and check those out. But Everafter Falls was developed by Square Husky and published by Aquarium Games. Some pros and cons, like I always like to mention with all the games, especially with demos. Always try the demo first and make your own opinion, but pros that I would like to hit for Everafter Falls is definitely the Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing vibes. I mean, it even talks about it in the game itself. It knows exactly where it is getting its resources from to develop their own game, so I thought that was super hilarious that they added in that little bit. There are helpful quest pointers, which I definitely appreciate for someone who does not have a sense of direction. It is nice to have some quests pinned where you know exactly where to go, especially even for specific NPCs. It shows you, no matter where they're at on the map, it shows you where they are and how to get to them. It has nice music. I did not get tired of the music whatsoever. And like I said earlier, it does have a pet that you kind of customize the colors for that helps you on your farm, which I think is super adorable. And it's a nice way to utilize your pet versus it just follows you around. Like, it has its own job and I love to see it. And then it also has lots of terrain and world detail in the game itself. Few cons that I have for this is the simple character design. It is good, has a good range of skin colors, but I feel like it would benefit having just a little bit more, and I'm hopeful for the full game that it probably will. Something that is very similar to Stardew Valley that I'm sure if you've played, you understand the pain. It gets very, very dark at nighttime. Here is what it looks like without me doing anything to it. This is how dark it is. And yeah, it's very, very, very dark, and it was hard to see. I was also playing during the daytime, which is not probably the best way to play it, but that was definitely a con for me. Number 2 on my list is Wax Heads, which is a cozy punk slice of life narrative sim about managing a struggling record shop. You chat to quirky customers with their very unique tastes, and you explore a handcrafted record collection where you fall in love with the bands and their drama, and you can slack off if you want to, which is some of my pros that I'll mention here shortly. But it was developed and published by Patati Games, and I'm so sorry if I am mispronouncing that. The link to their Twitter is in the description box below, of course. They've developed and published it, but pros with this game is the music is the core and the best part of the game and demo, I guess, as a whole. It had fun side quests, which I mentioned. You can slack off. You don't always have to help the customers and help them find their record. You can do that, and that's part of it, but you can delay that, like playing the very difficult arcade game that I did do my best effort at, but was not successful. And you also get requested to decorate a poster for an upcoming event, and I spent a big chunk of the demo just decorating this poster. Here's how the poster started, and then here is where it ended. There's a lot going on for it, but I really enjoyed that aspect of it, outside of kind of gathering the information from the customers, trying to figure out what they're wanting, because they don't 100% just tell you. They kind of hint at what they're looking for, and then you kind of get that record for them, package it, you know, cash them out, that type of thing as a cashier. The game also has a very unique art style, which I really, really like. And the cons that I do have with the game is the demo only showed like the beginning customer dialogues where they're doing specific, very simple requests, but it's very surface level, very easy. I'm sure it's because it's the very beginning parts of the game. It eases you into it. I'm assuming in the full game it'll be a little bit more difficult, or you get a little bit more freedom of what you can provide. And I didn't take the route of just giving them something that they didn't want. So I do wonder if you went that route instead of doing exactly what they were requesting, if it would have changed it a bit, but that was probably my only thing. I just want to see more, essentially. And like I said, the music is a big part of the game as a whole. And so there's a playlist that you pick songs from where you can play over the store speakers, and I really liked the vibes and sounds of those songs, of course. So I wish they played for longer or would just be on a loop until I changed it or went back to the general default music that it was playing before. But those are the only cons I have with Wax Heads. Third on the list is The Green Book, your cozy journey into a magical plant shopkeeping. You're basically a cute bear who has found an oak tree in the forest and decided to settle in it by starting their own business, which I think is cute. It was developed and published by Taptique. Pros for this one, I mean, the simple button options and movements is really nice. It doesn't have to be super strenuous and complicated. Sometimes I really enjoy a nice point and click type of game, and so this one definitely hit that for me. The art style is really cute, as you can see. Look at this adorable little bear, especially when I was able to put him in an adorable hat at the end. Ugh, cute. There's also this little frog that is like right there next to you the entire time. You can click on him at any time, and he croaks every time. That was also one of the things. There's a croak counter that I'm remembering that I got to a very high amount because I just couldn't stop clicking on the frog, because why not? And then there's something about mindless, simple gameplay that just sucks me in instantly, and I won't quit until I completed all the quests in the demo. And that's essentially what I did. I played it until I finished and checked off all of those quests before I ended my gameplay. There was still a little bit more I could have done, but it sucked me in very effortlessly and very easily. Cons I have with this is the music is great, but it's just one song, and I did vibe with it the entire demo, but I think if I purchased the full game, I would maybe get tired of the same song on loop, maybe if it changed at different points in the day, because you are able to speed up and slow down 24-hour daytime. So maybe at different points in the day, or maybe different days of the week, the song would change, would be kind of nice. So I am curious to know if they add any other music to the game. And I'm also curious just to see how the game develops past its simple mechanics. Number 4 on my list is something that I have been following for a while, and it is Scarlet Deer Inn, which is an embroidered narrative platformer with an emotional story, an interesting cast of characters, a dark dungeon full of monsters, and a world inspired by Slavic folklore. The only thing protecting you from certain death is your torch. And this one's been on my list for a while. It was developed and published by A2 Games. Pros with this is the reason that this game interested me the most is the super unique art style, where all the characters and animals movements, like every movement that you see with them and how they're designed, are embroidered and put into the game. It's taking the real world craft of embroidery and developing it into a game. And then talking about the backdrops and everything outside of the main characters, obviously they have beautiful full backgrounds as well. This was my favorite part of the game right here. There's just so much going for it, the different levels, the foreground, background, and beautiful, just beautiful overall. And then it has simple 2D traversal, that platforming, though difficult, it is still that simple platforming that you like to see. Now, the con that I'm going to mention might be a spoiler if you are wanting to play the demo yourself, but it is a very difficult game in the long run because I did die quite a few times and I ended the demo without actually fully completing the demo. The only thing protecting you from death is your torch, so if your torch isn't always lit or once it goes out, you essentially die and go back to that beautiful space that I mentioned. Basically, you get into the lore and the entire mess of the game because of this old lady, Madame Dorothy. It's all her fault. You only visit her to pick up your daughter's tunic that she is working on, basically sends you on a quest. After you do that, that's when the dark part of the story occurs and you're basically in this dungeon loop of chaos. So yeah, just gotta blame Madame Dorothy, I guess, for all of the trials that I have to go to in the future. So thank you so much, elderly woman. Appreciate you. And then last one on the list is Tiny Aquarium, which is a social fish keeping game. Tiny Aquarium is a real-time online aquarium simulator. You breed and sell fish, you can decorate, and you can visit your friends' aquariums with bite-sized daily sessions. It was developed and published by Loonheim Studios, and this was such an interesting game that came across my email the other day. It was actually a month or two ago that they reached out to me. I had never heard of Tiny Aquarium before that, but pros with it is the calming music that it has, the adorable fish that you watch and grow, and you can multiply them by having them mate with each other, which is interesting. There are cool off periods, like it does link with IRL time. The aquarium can also shrink down to a tiny aquarium, where I decided to test if my computer could handle it, but also like, can I also play another game while this little aquarium is in the bottom right? And the answer is yes. I was able to do some gourdlets designing while watching my little fish in the bottom right corner, and I got to listen to the Tiny Aquarium music while I was playing and listening to the in-game sounds of gourdlets. It was a wonderful experience, and definitely cozy times were had. And then because it is linked to IRL time, I haven't played it since I initially played the demo, and then today when I was going to record this part of the video, it has been 164 hours since the last time I visited my fish, and boy, the aquarium tank was dirty, so I had to clean the tank and feed all of my fish, but none of them died, which is nice. I thought for sure, because I was like, oh my god, I forgot about my fish, that they would all be gone, but no, they were there. They were just very, very hungry. There is a button where you can freeze your aquarium so like they don't go hungry. They're basically frozen in time until the next time you play. So if you do want to earn some stuff in-game for decorations and buying more fish and buying eggs to grow more fish and all that, then maybe just let it run, because after 164 hours, my fish were just fine. They just needed food, so to each their own. Now, the social aspect of it, I did not explore, because I don't think I know anyone else that has this game or downloaded the demo. So if you're seeing this and you somehow have the demo version of Tiny Aquarium and do want to explore the social part of it, whatever that means, then, let me know in the comments below, I guess. And then the cons that I do have with this is it does go with real time, which I guess is okay. But it did seem to go by very slowly. Like you kind of finish your dailies of sorts very quickly with your fish tank, and basically you just have to exit the game and wait several hours later or the next day to progress further, I guess. Because it's linked up with IRL time, that is probably the worst part of it, is it's very slow going, but I think that's the whole point. It's meant to play in chunks and not necessarily get really far really quickly. But those are the 5 Steam demos that I have played recently. Let me know in the comments below if you are going to try any of these games. Have any of these been on your wish list before? Or are you just now hearing about them here in this video. Let me know down below, and thank you so much for watching.